Hello everyone, this is Tormuse, and I'm picking up where I left off in Doki Doki Storm. Let's see, when we last left off, just had a, heart-to-heart moment with Natsuki. Very emotional scene. Yeah, we're going into this Sunday where she's meeting with MC, so let's see how this goes. I mean, I know how it goes because I wrote this, but it's Sunday. It's time to leave for Tormuse's house. I wear my favorite tan sweater. I pack up everything I need. The cloth for the banner, ribbons, the diffuser, and a box of condoms. I rearrange the items to make sure the box is covered. I think I would die of embarrassment if he saw it prematurely. It was hard enough buying it in the first place yesterday. As usual, the thought crossed my mind to decide which knife to take with me, but I've done so well without them the past couple of days that I'd like to continue with that progress. However, it also occurs to me that I'm going to need something to cut the ribbons. I hesitate, really not sure whether I should bring one or not. How much do I trust myself with my knives lately? It's been 4 days since my last episode. It's not an especially long time. But I have been feeling a lot better than usual lately. I feel really good about today. I select the one with the wavy pattern on the handle and the blue blade. It's collapsible into non-threatening shape. Hopefully that will help. Incidentally, in case it wasn't clear by now, I got the random idea to have this sort of earth, air, fire, and water theme going on with her knives. Like the first one, the green one with the leafy pattern represents earth, the purple one with the lightning bolts represents air, the red one with the flames, obviously fire, and this one, the wavy pattern, is water. No particular reason for that. I just, the original in-game description had blue with a wavy pattern, so I thought, oh, water. Oh, hey, let's run with that. Incidentally, Nuxil, who made the knife rack here for me, I gave instructions to include knives of those descriptions and to just basically populate it with whatever, like I said, like whatever knives you want, I encourage Nuxil to just kind of go nuts and whatever design or shape, whatever. So like some of these don't necessarily represent how I imagine them. Like I said, the purple one with the lightning bolt, I guess that's this one here, had a spring-loaded blade. I don't know if that looks like has a spring-loaded blade, but oh well. Nothing has to match perfectly. Anyway, moving on. I hold it in my hands in front of me, resisting the urge to caress the design on the handle. I'm bringing you to help with decorations. The decorations only. Understand? The knife does not respond, of course. Nevertheless, I put it in my bag as I head out. She's still talking to her knives. Not a good sign. Quickly, whoops. Sorry. I quickly find Tormuse's house and ring the doorbell. My heart is racing in anticipation of our time together this afternoon. I hope I'll be able to remain calm when I greet him. The more time I spend waiting on his doorstep, the more anxious I get. Has enough time to pass to ring the doorbell a second time? I don't know, but I ring it anyway. I'm hoping it doesn't make me sound as frantic as I feel. More time passes. No one answers. This is taking too long. Something's wrong. I am a bit early, but he should be home anyway, right? Am I at the right house? I double-check the house number, and walk to the corner to double-check the street name. There's no doubt about it. This is Tormuse's house. What do I do? Should I look in the window to see if he's there? That might be a creepy thing to do. I ring the doorbell a third time. I'm beyond caring about what it sounds like now. I'm starting to feel panic. This isn't how today's supposed to go at all. And then I see him. He's approaching from the distance, down the street. He looks surprised to see me and quickens his pace. The relief I feel threatens to overwhelm me. Stay calm, act normal, act normal. Everything's going to be okay now. Yuri? Ah, thank goodness. You're a little early. I'm sorry I wasn't home yet. Were you waiting for a long time? No, I just got here, but I started to get really nervous when nobody answered the doorbell. You always get a text of me. If I had known, I would have reassured you and hurried more on my way home.
Ah, I suppose that's true. I didn't think of that, for some reason.
I feel foolish for not having considered that. Still not used to the concept of using my phone. Yeah, this line right here, I didn't think of that for some reason, basically motivated everything to do with her phone up to this point that I wrote. Anyway, let's go inside. I see you brought a lot of stuff with you.
That's right.
I try to focus on the mundane to hide how unsettled I feel.
And did you manage to find everything I asked you to buy as well?
Yeah, pretty much. At least I hope I got everything right.
I'm sure it will be fine.
I wonder what he was doing that kept him away from home, but I can't seem to find my voice to ask him. I'm still trying to calm myself down. I let him lead me to his room. The fact that he took me to his bedroom makes me wonder all over again about his feelings and intentions. Could he be thinking of encouraging intimacy between us too? Makes it harder to calm myself. I've never been in someone else's room before. I can't help looking around in curiosity. I see that he has an appreciable collection of books on his bookcase. I'd love to peruse them at some point.
It's so clean.
I guess I won't have the chance to help him with that after all. Maybe I can at least still cook something later. I cleaned it before he came over, so...
That's very considerate of you to do.
No. I would be really embarrassed for my room to be a mess while you were here.
Well, I do enjoy cleaning. I would have gladly helped you clean.
That would be even more embarrassing. Wait, don't look in there! He suddenly grabs my wrist.
I'm sorry.
After a second of blind panic, I realize he isn't hurting me.
I wasn't thinking for some reason. I was just spacing out.
It's fine, it's fine. He lets me go, and I pull my hand away from the drawer I'd been opening. I discreetly dig the nails of one hand into the other, inwardly cursing myself for being so stupid. So, should we get started? His expression is nervous, not angry. Maybe I haven't actually ruined things yet. Yeah, but by the way, that's another instance of without really trying to make it like a jump scare per se. I did want to emphasize the suddenness of him, like suddenly grabbing her, and the effect that it had on her. Like, whoa! It's like, what the hell? He's grabbing me all of a sudden. What? You know. Anyway, moving on. Maybe I haven't actually ruined things yet.
Yes.
Take some effort to collect myself enough to act casual again.
I have a few things planned that you can help me with. Decorations and other atmospheric enhancements.
Atmospheric enhancements?
You know, mood lighting, aromatherapy candles.
Oh, wow. I didn't know you planned on taking it that far.
Of course. I want to help take our guests to a faraway place. Although many will stop by just out of curiosity, and for cupcakes, I guess. I'm determined to provide an experience that will leave them wanting more.
That's great. It's easy to forget that you're a pretty intense person.
Intense?
I guess that's the best way to put it.
Is that a bad thing?
No, not at all. Something I like about you, actually. Hearing that helps me breathe more easily. I wasn't aware until this moment how much tightness I was feeling in my chest. That's a little... That's a little autobiographical, by the way. Yeah, I'm prone to anxiety myself, and sometimes, like, tension builds up inside me, and I'm just so used to it, I don't even notice it. And then once in a while, I go, "Oh yeah, oh yeah, I forgot. I can just relax that. Okay, you know, don't have to be so tense all the time." Anyway, moving on.
Is that so? That makes me feel relieved and kind of happy.
Yeah, no need to be so anxious. You can relax a little.
Relax?
I think now is a good time to begin carrying out my plan.
I brought some things for relaxation. I was going to use them during the poetry event.
Oh yeah? Like what?
Let's see.
I take the diffuser and a few of the candles out of my bag.
I did some shopping on the way here, so I happen to have these in my bag.
I avoid eye contact. He doesn't need to know that I'm lying.
I plan to cover the windows in black paper and use the candles to light the room. I think that would be amazing, don't you?
Yeah, that'd be really neat. What's that wooden thing, though?
Oh, this?
is for personal use. No, I'm joking.
It's a diffuser for essential oils. How familiar are you with aromatherapy?
Not familiar at all.
Ah, is that so?
Good. I can pretend to be an expert.
It's one of my favorite contributors to a positive atmosphere.
That bugs me. The spelling of favorite. I mean, I'm Canadian. I replaced all the spellings of words like favorite with, the international spelling instead of the American spelling, like this, with a U in there. But I missed one, apparently. Whoops. Oh well. I try to recall what the sign said at the aromatherapy display.
Depending on the oils or herbs you choose, you can change the mood of the air itself. You can even feel it permeate through your body. Relaxation, positive energy, romance, reflection. It's almost like magic.
I activate the diffuser, a thin ray of vapor. See? Like that. That's supposed to be spelled. Thin ray of vapor begins to spout through the hole in the top. Wow, that sounds wonderful. By the way, incidentally, I do find it kind of amusing, the idea of, Yuri just totally faking the whole aromatherapy thing. Like, she has no freaking clue what she's doing, but she's just pretending. Just kind of how, like, she fakes knowing things about literature. I mean, she doesn't have knowledge about literature, but she's, like doing the poem sharing, she's just kind of stumbling through giving MC advice. But anyway, yeah. I don't know. I just thought it was funny. I ran with it. Wow, that smells wonderful. What kind of mood is that one for? I dodged the question.
This is a Jasmine Essential Oil. It smells a little sweet and flowery, right?
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
I chose jasmine for the event because it provides more than relaxation. Jasmine enhances your emotions and helps you feel them flow through your body. You feel warmer and your heart pounds more heavily.
Not relaxation at all, really.
Don't you think that will be perfect for sharing our poems?
It does sound suitable. But you seem to know a lot about this, so I'll trust your opinion with anything. Hearing him say that makes me feel flushed with pride. I can't help smiling to myself. Or maybe the jasmine is affecting me already. I begin pulling the art supplies out of my bag, starting with the ribbons. What are those for?
Well, did you purchase the origami paper I asked you to get?
Yeah, I have it over here. I hope this doesn't sound weird, but it was on the website, so it can't be too weird.
We won't be using the paper for folding origami. What I'd like to do is write a different word on each paper. We'll need about 100 of them.
Oh yeah? What will those be used for?
Well, I'm going to cut pieces of ribbon to hang from the doorway of the classroom. Then we can fasten the paper onto the ribbons to create a doorway curtain. Wouldn't that be beautiful? It would also catch the eye of those passing by the room. It may attract some to peek inside.
That's really creative. I had no idea you'd be so good at this, Yuri.
Is that so? Well, I suppose I do get a little intense, as you'd put it.
At this point, I'm sure the jasmine oil is affecting me. I feel heat rising in my face when I look at Tormuse. But the moment isn't right to make an advance on him yet.
Here's a marker, Tormuse. You can write any words you want.
I changed it to words. In the original DDLC, it said characters. But, I guess I anglicized it a bit. It only said characters to in the first place to make it sound like it originated in Japan, even though this was written in the U.S. As evidenced by that 200 degrees Fahrenheit in the previous scene. Anyway,
I'll help you once I finish cutting the ribbons.
Ah, all right.
As Termy starts writing the words on the paper, I start unraveling the ribbons from their spools.
And now comes a moment that gives me some trepidation. I take my knife out of my bag. I carefully unfold the blade, all the while reminding myself it's just for the ribbons. I'm only cutting the ribbons, that's all, nothing else. Eh? That's no ordinary pocket knife. It looks really fancy.
Oh well.
I feel nervous all over again. I'd forgotten to consider how this would look. I look away, feeling scared about how he might react. My breathing starts to become irregular again. I reflexively grip the handle of the knife. I don't want to be made to feel this way while I'm holding it. What is it? You're going to think it's weird. Yuri, whatever it is, I have no reason to judge. To each their own, you know? If you promise you won't be weirded out. Incidentally, this is another example of Yuri copying phrases that other people use, because Natsuki used the word weirded out in the previous scene. Just a little fun fact. Anyway. Yeah, I promise. Alright. It's okay. Just think of it as another opportunity to share something about myself. The thing is, I'm kind of into knives. They're just so pretty. I can't help it. I don't know what it is. The combination of craftsmanship and feeling of danger, maybe? I should have said something safer, more normal sounding. I could have just said they remind me of my fantasy novels. What am I saying? Please don't think I'm weird for this. My breath catches in my throat. You're laughing at me. No, I'm not laughing at you. It's just funny how nervous you got about sharing. It's an interesting thing to be into, I guess. But I think it kind of suits you. Suits me? Yeah, it's kind of intense. Besides, it's a really cool looking knife. Can't deny that. It is, isn't it? I can't help taking a second to admire it. I feel like I can relax again. In fact, maybe it's the effect of the jasmine, but I have the intoxicating feeling that I can share something truly intimate with him. Would you like to hold it? Sure, I'll check it out. I carefully turn the knife so that the handle is pointing toward him, and the cutting side of the blade is turned away from my hand. He takes the knife clumsily, allowing the blade to brush against my hand as he does so. I consider myself fortunate that I didn't take one of my double-edged blades today. Seeing how carelessly he's handling something so precious to me is somewhat upsetting. I wonder if I should have given him a lecture about knife safety before handing it to him. Maybe I still can. He's not the kind of person who would call me a know-it-all, right? Just as I'm thinking this, he jabs the point of the knife into his index finger. Ow! Tormuse! Why did you do that? For a wild instant, I wonder if Tormuse has a self-harm habit too. I didn't expect it to be that sharp. I barely touched it at all. It's my fault. I should have warned you. This knife is extremely sharp. It can cut through skin like it's paper. Why did I say that? That'll raise questions. Oh no. He's bleeding. Without any conscious decision to, I find myself taking his hand in mine to get a closer look. Being in contact with his hand gives me a tingly, dizzying feeling all over. The air feels heavy. My head is swimming. I stare, fascinated at the little river of blood trickling down the side of his finger. It's the first time I've seen someone else's blood up close. My hands twitch. His voice is like a dull buzzing in my ears right now. I tenderly take his bleeding finger inside my mouth. The whole world falls away to be replaced by a rapturous feeling that overloads all my senses. At long last, I experience the most intimate of contact with his beautiful, supple hand. I barely suppress the urge to moan with pleasure as I run my tongue along the side of his finger, and suddenly it's gone. It's all gone. The shocked look on Tormuse's face makes me realize the full horror of what I just did. But please forgive me. I wasn't thinking. That was wrong. That was wrong. What do I even say after doing such a thing? Yuri, that's the most embarrassing thing I've ever done. How could I do something like that? I'm sorry. What was I even thinking? Normal people will put a cut finger in their mouth, but not someone else's cut finger. That was not a normal display of intimacy. I can't even blame the jasmine oil for that. There's something broken inside me, something that can't be fixed. I let a moan of despair. If Tormuse wasn't holding the knife, I would use it on myself. I think I really do want to die now. There's no hope for any future for me. He'll tell everyone what I did, what a freak I am. I will lose the last place that I feel safe. No one will ever want anything to do with me again. My life, as I know it, is over. Something wet just touched my index finger. I feel a jolt that brings me back to my senses. Tormuse, did you really just do that? Now we're even. I glance at my finger. There's no doubt about it. He just licked it. What does this mean? I knew that would be a bad idea. His nervous laughter rings in my ears. What I did was wrong, but I guess he wants to show that he's okay with it? I don't know. I really don't know. The only thing I'm sure of is the giddy feeling of reassurance that maybe he's more like me than I thought. You're so weird, Tormuse. I can't help giggling about it. Eh? I'm about to offer him a bandage from my bag, but I stopped myself, remembering that it might lead to more tricky questions. Sorry, I sort of have to laugh at this bit just because I was just before doing this recording, actually, I was watching another LP of someone, Midbit, actually going through my mod, and he made a comment here that, yeah, and the box of condoms might fall out. And it just put this funny image in my mind of Yuri going, "Oh no, let me give you a bandage. Quick, use one of these. No, wait, not that one." I don't know, sorry, that just something that just seems funny to me. Yeah. Incidentally, just the whole idea, the whole fact that I wrote in the box of condoms in there was I have to imagine that Yuri didn't really think things through. Like I think she just got so caught up in the excitement of her idea, like, oh, well, maybe I can make something romantic happen, and her mom's voice ringing in her head, and like, oh, hey, what if I do that? I don't think she really thought that, like she hasn't, like, I don't know, maybe, I guess maybe she would keep her sweater on, because she'd have a hard time explaining her scars, not to mention the relatively fresh injury on her breast, yeah, that's just Yuri being Yuri, Yuri being impulsive and not thinking things through. Oh well. Anyway, moving on. Where do you keep your bandages? Ah, I don't think I need one, actually. It was a tiny cut. Look, it already stopped bleeding. I see. His blood must clot quickly. I feel a bit envious of that. That's relieving. I can't shake the feeling this has all been rather unhygienic, but can't bring myself to voice any concern of that. Termes picks up the marker again and resumes writing words in the papers. I guess he'd rather ignore what just happened. So I follow his lead. I take my knife back and resume cutting the ribbons. Just the ribbons, just the ribbons, just the ribbons. Periodically I glance at my finger again. It's dry now, but I savor the memory of the all too brief contact with Tormes' fluids. Yeah. This is the part where I'm just kind of trying to make any of the heterosexual boys in the audience squirm with the discomfort of like all this focus on like Tormes' fluids. Ew. you know. Yeah, like my original idea for the finger licking part was my original idea was just Yuri was gonna just space out and not be aware that she did it, basically. But then I thought, nah, let's just go for maximum audience discomfort here and just have her experience it vividly and just like, ew, like what? No, Yuri, no. I mean, this mod, I mean, you'll see more of it in Act 2, but I'm trying to take refuge in Audacity by just make things audacious and ridiculous as possible. Just go for maximum discomfort, so there's no starting point to complain about it, basically. That's the idea, anyway. It's gonna get a lot worse than this. Fair warning. Anyway, moving on. Is this okay? Is it okay for me to be thinking and feeling and wanting these things? I feel like something has been awakened within me. Oh yeah, this line is sort of significant in my mind. This is something, okay, I didn't mention explicitly anywhere in the mod, but in my head, I see Yuri as demisexual, as in she doesn't necessarily feel sexual arousal unless she has an emotional connection with someone first, and then it's like boom, you know, like that's how it works in my head anyway. You know, not that I'm demisexual or anything. It's just that's just sort of my headcanon for. Anyway, moving on. So that's what this line here is she's that notion that he's okay with her weirdness is just, you know, for lack of a better phrase, it just kind of turned her on. So here we go. I feel like I want to put my mouth on him again. I want to lick his body all over. Stop it! Stop it! Stop thinking weird things. I want to punish myself. The knife is in my hand. It would be so easy. Just the ribbons, just the ribbons, just the ribbons. Act normal, act normal. I need to be normal. I know that the feeling of pain will help me regain my sense of focus, but I also know that I can't do it here. Even back when I was cutting myself regularly, I had rules for myself. One of those was that I would never do it away from home. How can I possibly think of doing it here, in Tormy's house? I'm just going to focus on the task at hand, and the knife in my hand that I'm using to cut the ribbons, and just the ribbons. Now I'm wondering if I can discreetly lick my finger to take in the traces of his saliva without him noticing. Why am I thinking that? What's wrong with me? The storm is rising. My mind is in such turmoil it's getting harder to focus on what I'm doing. I feel the blade of the knife graze my hand. I'm not even sure if I did it on purpose or not. And then I finish my task. I drop the knife on the floor, eager to be rid of the source of my urges. With Tormy's help, we are quickly able to finish assembling the curtain. It looks great. Good thinking coming up with this, Yuri. Ah, thanks. It's just something I saw online, really. Just focus on what we're doing. Are you ready to move on to the next task? Yeah, let's do it. What do you have in mind? I'd like to create a banner. That's why I asked you to buy the paint tablets. Ah, that's right. We'll need about 6 cups of water to put each of the tablets in. Do you mind fetching those for us? Of course not. 6 cups of water. I'll be right back in a minute. Thank you very much. Oh, and just a little bit of water is okay. If you fill the cups too much, it'll be too diluted. He steps out of the room. I look at my knife on the floor. I should cut myself. No, don't think that. I quickly back up against the wall, wanting to be as distant from the knife as possible. But I can't take my eyes off it. It's like I'm being hypnotized by it. My breathing is getting out of control. My heart rate skyrockets. The storm floods my brain. My mind swarms with thoughts of how wrong and stupid and broken I am, and that I should just give in and hurt myself. This is just what I am, that I deserve this pain. Instantly, I hear the sound of water running in the other room. Tormy's will only be occupied for about a minute. I have time to do it, but some last scrap of defiance within me tries to remind me of all the reasons not to do it. I think of Natsuki. I'm a good person and I don't deserve to be hurt. Even as I repeat her words to myself, I feel my own lack of conviction, almost as if the storm is talking to me. I hear her reply. What does she know? She wasn't even talking about cutting. I remind myself that's against my rules. You made up those rules yourself. They don't hold any meaning. I remind myself that cutting myself will drive Tormy's away. You don't know that. You said yourself that he's weird, like you. And anyway, there's no way you'll end up with him if you're cowering in the corner of the room. If you do it high enough in your arm, he may not even notice. I hear the water stop running in the other room. Tormy's will be back any second. Do it now. I dash to my knife and pick it up from the floor. I pull up my right sleeve as high as I can and slash my knife across my bicep. The door is opening. I drop the knife again as I hastily pull my sleeve down. Yuri? Tormy's comes back in, carrying 6 small cups of water on a plate. He looks perplexed, but not as alarmed as I would expect him to be if he saw what I just did. The pain of the cut is already bringing about a release of the tension I was feeling. My heart rate and breathing are slowly getting under control, but it still takes some effort to get my voice sounding like something close to normal. Yes? Nothing. Your face is a little bit red. Is it too hot in here or anything? I'm sure my smile looks very forced right now, but I try to keep things looking casual. No, not at all. There's nothing wrong, so let's mix the paint. I hurriedly take the water from him and energetically unwrap the paint tablets to drop one into each. I hope that if I do this animatedly enough, it'll provide a sufficient distraction from my knife on the floor. From a quick glance, I see that there's blood on the blade. I hope he doesn't notice. I'll have to wait until he's looking to try to put it away. So, I thought we would do something simple that would look very nice. I'd like to paint a gradient across the banner, starting with the colors for a sunrise, then daytime, then sunset, and nighttime.
Once it dries, I'll write an inspirational quote across the banner. We can hang it on the wall behind the podium at the front of the classroom.
Ah, neat. What are you going to write?
Well, I have a few ideas of what to say, but it's hard to concentrate because I'm conscious of the feeling of blood running down my upper arm under my sweater. It will be more fun to surprise you. I force a smile that I believe Sayuri would be proud of.
If you say so.
The two of us unroll the banner and spread it across the floor in the middle of the room. We kneel down on opposite sides of it, with the banner effectively acting as a barrier between us. I have mixed feelings about this. On the one hand, it will be harder on my plan of fostering intimacy between us, but on the other hand, the day has gone so wrong that maybe it's just as well that we're being blocked from each other. Everything is in such a shambles. I even broke one of my sacred rules I made for myself. As the two of us get started painting, I feel preoccupied by the steady drip of blood down my arm. Why did I do it? Was it even worth it? In the moment, it felt like it was important to de-stress myself, but now I feel like I've just replaced the stress of my self-loathing with stress of the thought of him finding out about it. And now I'm going to have yet another scar that I'll have to spend the rest of my life hiding. What was I thinking? It was a spur-of-the-moment decision. I figured there was no time to line it up with the other cuts in my forearm, so I better do it high up. I have no idea how deep the cut is. I didn't have time to assess it, and I don't dare look at it now. I most likely won't be able to clean it until I get home. The blade wouldn't have been clean because it was in my bag, and then it was in him. I suddenly realized that since his blood was on the knife, I may have gotten some of it directly into my bloodstream. Why does that thought arouse me? I'm finding it harder to control my breathing. How messed up am I that I would find such a thing sexy? Normal people get disgusted, or afraid, or angry when I talk about blood, or even basic anatomy. I've always been fascinated by human anatomy, how all our body parts and organs work together in harmony, how even the smallest parts, right down to the tiniest cell, has its role, even the smallest drop of blood. Reading and learning about it has helped me appreciate how wondrous and beautiful the human form is. But people always react badly if I try to express that to them. It's how those boys reacted to my anatomy book all those years ago, the day I got the most severely punished. I long to tell Tormes about how much I want to carefully explore every inch of his body in excruciating detail, that if the banner wasn't between us I would probably throw myself at him right now. But he would probably hate that. He would hate me. I would scare him away. How can I think such lustful thoughts around something that any normal person would find disturbing? It's a reminder that I deserve the pain that I'm feeling. But I shouldn't think too hard about that, or I may break another one of my rules, the one that says I won't cut myself more than once a day. This kind of reminds me of elementary school. Tormes' voice breaks the silence, forcing me to refocus my attention. I'm sorry if this feels too childish. Yeah, incidentally, I kind of made Yuri an anatomy nerd, and yeah, she's she was reading the day that those bullies beat her up. She was reading an anatomy book, and I'm sort of hinting that that's what freaked them out. That she was talking excitedly about blood and bones and stuff, and that's what made him. I mean, not that that's an excuse for beating someone up, but it was like they're bullies. They're looking to hurt someone who's different. So, basically they're a bunch of assholes, like Natsuki said. But yeah, you're gonna see more of that fascination with anatomy later. Moving on. I'm sorry if this feels too childish. No, I didn't mean that at all. It's kind of fun, I consider this. Now that he mentions it, it is rather enjoyable. I think if I didn't have this task to occupy my hands, I'd probably totally lose my mind right now. Yeah, it is fun. I'm glad you feel that way too. I find myself reflecting on the time that Tormes and I have spent together in the last few days. I'm aware that most people seem to prefer to go out and party to have fun, but that's never had any appeal to me. For me, I don't need to go out and do crazy things to have fun. In fact, I usually don't even want to. I just like when I can spend time with one other person. Even if it's something simple like reading, it doesn't even matter if we don't talk much. Just having a friend next to me makes things feel a little bit nicer. I think that's all it takes for me to be happy. Before meeting Tormes, I wouldn't have known to say that. I feel a bit of pride about being able to say it with some authority now. Yeah, it's like what I was saying earlier in the other episode about the difference between introverts and extroverts. In Act 3 of the original game, Monica has a comment about that. Spending time with introverts, even if you're not explicitly doing anything together. So I guess Dancevat is also introverted, and that's sort of his thing. I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. Anyway, moving on. Is that so? I think I feel the same way. I don't even have to force my smile this time. I knew you'd understand. Clunk. Yeah. Sorry. I didn't mean to cry out, but I was already feeling quite tense. I let go of the brush I was reaching for and reflexively put my hand to my head where it collided with his. Are you hurt? No, I'm not hurt. Not my head, anyway. Yeah, that's another instance of, the original story had, 4 or 5 lines of description of them hitting heads. I streamlined it to make it more sudden here. I think it's more effective that way. Anyway. It just startled me, that's all. Sorry, I should have asked you to get it for me. It's not your fault. Ah, your face. Is there something on my face? Yeah, I accidentally got paint on you. Sorry, it's totally my fault. I'll get a towel right away. He rushes out of the room. I don't know how long I have. I quickly grab the knife from the floor, fold it up, and throw it in my bag. I feel bad about folding it up when it's covered in blood. It feels somehow disrespectful to get blood on the inside of it, but I'll worry about cleaning it properly later. I hear the sound of water running in the distance. I want to inspect my wound. I can feel the blood running down my arm, coming to a point at my elbow, but I'm afraid of the prospect of Tormes coming back in while I'm looking at it. I have no idea how messy it is. Time passes. I still hear the water running. How long is he going to take? If I don't had this much time, I definitely would have looked. I'm literally cursing myself for not doing it while I had the chance. And now I hear the water turn off and his footsteps coming back, so it really is too late. My breath catches in my throat when he kneels down in front of me at arm's length. Here. The towel is hot when he applies it to my face. I welcome the heat after being so cold for so long. And the contact of his hand arouses me all over again. Is something wrong? I probably shouldn't moan like that. It's hot. I just didn't expect it. Sorry. I didn't want to use cold water. After wiping down my face and neck, he starts to pull his hand away. Without thinking, I grab hold of his wrist and hold his hand against my neck. Wait. Eh? Just for a little longer. It feels really nice. That's an understatement. I look into his eyes while gently but firmly holding on to him. There's an energy crackling between us that sets my heart racing. I part my lips, ready to put his beautiful, sensual hand in my mouth again. But I know I shouldn't do that. I feel so much pent-up emotion that I just want to do something. I pull closer to him, not taking my eyes off his. I'm thankful for the fact that there's no longer a barrier between us. My body aches to be with him. Should I kiss him? I cast my mind back to every romance novel I ever read. They always do all kinds of things together, but it always starts with a kiss, and it's usually initiated by the man. I guess that means I have to wait for him. Why do these stupid gender rules exist? Why can't I just be kissing him now? Why won't he kiss me? I want to grab his other wrist and pin him to the bed. I want to embrace him hard and make love like there's no tomorrow, but I hold myself back. I don't know if he wants this. It has to be his decision. He just looks nervous and confused right now. Maybe he's just as confused as I am. Maybe he wants me, but he also doesn't know how to proceed. Or maybe he really doesn't want any part of this after all. I don't know. I just don't know. Do I dare take the risk of initiating the kiss? Would it be okay? Would it be wrong? How wrong would it be? Right now, I feel like if something doesn't happen, I'm going to explode. I'll do it. I'm going to kiss him. My pounding heart overwhelms me, but just as I start to move in, I notice something. Something wet just touched my leg. Blood is soaked through the sleeve of my sweater. There's a visible red spot on my elbow, and it's dripping onto me. I pull away from him, trying to keep my elbow out of his view. Sorry, I've been feeling a little lightheaded today. I didn't mean to space out. It's fine. I really am feeling lightheaded. I start worrying again about how much blood I'm losing. I try to hide my expression by picking up my paintbrush while also discreetly trying to inspect my elbow. I have to help myself awkwardly to do this while keeping it out of his view. Sorry, there's something I was going to comment on there. Yeah. In addition to, like I said before, trying to make heterosexual boys in the audience uncomfortable by having an extreme close-up of MC in your face. Yeah, there's the comment about gender rules. She's talking about gender roles, of course, without actually talking about gender roles. But yeah, I think I mentioned it in the previous video. I've just kind of always seen gender roles as bullcrap. I mean, the whole idea men have to do a certain thing, women have to do a certain thing. I just feel like everyone should do whatever makes them happy, and like the idea that a man has to take initiative, bullcrap. You know, girl can just as easily make the first move. Nothing wrong with that. Seriously. You know. Anyway, moving on. Fortunately, the bloody spot on my elbow is small, so it isn't hard to conceal it. But I'm sure it's just a matter of time before it grows to a noticeable size. Meanwhile, he just picks up his own paintbrush and resumes painting it from his previous position. I'll have to abandon all thoughts of any further intimacy today. I'm sure it would kill any possible romantic mood if I accidentally get him covered in blood. Fortunately, it isn't long before we finish painting. That should do it. Termes has just put the last of the stars in the sky at the nighttime section. Despite all that I'm feeling, I can't help admiring our work. I think it came out better than I expected. I'm really happy with the results. Yeah, me too. Are you going to add the lettering now? Not yet. It needs to dry first. That's true, but won't that take a while? Well, this would have been an excellent excuse to spend more time with him, but I really need to go. Perhaps it would be best to leave it here, then have you bring it in the morning. I can do the lettering in the classroom before our event starts. Is that okay? That's totally fine. Wonderful. In that case, I don't think there's anything more for us to do here. Phew. Is he relieved? That hurts a little. That was the most forced laugh I have ever uttered. You say that like you're glad it's over. Was I wrong to assume that you were at least enjoying yourself a little bit? No, it's not that. I'm just glad we managed to get everything done. I see. Maybe it's a good thing I didn't kiss him then. I am too. I was a little concerned about time. I need to go. I need to start making dinner soon. Ah, so you don't have any time left? Well, I really want to stay. He has no idea how much I want to stay right now and be with him. But I can't. I desperately need to get home so I can clean myself up. I think it would be too irresponsible of me to wait much longer. I'm sorry. I really am. I was hoping there would be more time as well. It's probably my fault. Sorry for being such a slow worker. No, it's not your fault at all. It really isn't. And the important thing is that we got everything done, right? Yeah. So, I shouldn't be disappointed or anything. I try to occupy myself with gathering my things, but the weight of disappointment is crushing me. Hold on a second, I need to get more water. I'm going to pause for a second. And I'm back. Moving on. Tormes walks me out the front door. Thank you very much for having me today. I wish he did have me. Wish he had me all night long. No problem, I'm glad I was able to help. Just let me know if there's anything else you need me to bring tomorrow. I will. Well then. I fumble with my sleeve, making sure the bloody spot is out of his view. I guess I'll see you tomorrow. Wait. About today. It's fine that we didn't have as much time as we wanted. Because we can do this again. Whenever you want. You can come over, or we can go out somewhere. I forgot, you don't like going out much. He nervously stammers and trips over his words, but all I can do is smile. Because it means this isn't over. Maybe I'll have another chance another day. Anyway, you know what I'm trying to say, so... You're very thoughtful, Tormes.
I step forward and take his hand, being careful to keep my bloody arm behind my back. I kind of like that about you. Well, I want to hold him, to hug him, to embrace him, but I know this is all I can do right now. Anything else will have to wait until another day. And then I see something that makes me pull back in fear. Sayuri? Yeah? Ah! Hi, Tormuse! Sayuri, just now, we weren't... It's okay, Tormuse. I just stopped by to say hi. I have to go. Well, it's nice to see you. I'm sorry, but I'm already on my way to leave. Aw, really? That's too bad. I'm sorry, but I'll put you together at the festival tomorrow, so that's fine, right? Of course. She's smiling, but it's clearly the mask again. Yeah, so I'll see you tomorrow. I run. I just keep running away, cradling my elbow. I don't look back. The whole way home, I feel nothing but anger. Anger at myself. Anger at my self-harm habit. Anger at the world. Why did I do it? Why did I do it? Why did I do it? If I hadn't given in to my urges, I could probably be making sweet, tender love to Tormuse right now, instead of feeling this burning sexual frustration that makes me want to break things. The first thing I do when I get home is pull my knife out of my bag and hurl it across the room. It makes a loud bang against the wall and falls to the floor. This is all your fault! I'm shaking with fury. I look over at the rest of my collection in the rack hanging on the wall. I rush over to it and aggressively wrench it down. The nails that were supporting it go flying. I throw the whole thing on the floor with a crash. All my knives go clattering across the room. I don't even try to control my heavy breathing as I gaze down in rage at them. It takes a few minutes of standing there staring at them for me to calm down enough to sit down on my bed. It's taken me years to build up my collection. Some were ordered online. Some I picked up from a trade show. I worked hard to acquire my knives. I've spent a lot of money on them. In some cases, I had to do scary things to get them, and they've held a pride of place on my wall for a long time. But now, I find I can only look at them with disgust. I know they're not the cause of my addiction to self-harm. That comes from within me. But at the same time, I bend down and pick up the display rack. I then go around and pick up all the knives, one by one, and pile them on the rack. Every single one of them. Tears are already forming in my eyes as I do this. I carry them outside. I feel tears streaming down my face as I approach the garbage can. I'm sorry. You're all very beautiful, and I'm going to miss you. But I can't do this anymore. I dump them all in the garbage. I'm really going to miss you. I'm struggling to maintain some semblance of control of my emotions as I turn my back on them. I enter my room. My eyes are drawn to the empty space where my knives used to be. Something about the sight makes me feel like something is breaking inside me. I collapse on my bed, sobbing. I feel like I've just lost a fundamental part of myself. I don't know how I will ever fill the empty hole left behind. I have no idea how long I spend lying there crying, but I eventually become aware of the blood soaking through the sleeve of my sweater. It's staining my bedsheets red, and it reminds me of why I'm doing this. I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing the right thing. I don't know if it makes me feel any better. In any case, I should go clean myself up. I really, really hope this is the last time I have to do this. Yeah, so, that scene there, that scene came to me spontaneously, one day. Like, I didn't originally, I don't know. There are a lot of things in this mod which sort of emerged over time, like as I was writing, like an idea came to me. And this is one that just came to me suddenly, spontaneously. I woke up in bed, and reached for my phone on my bedside table and just typed it out. I just wrote out that entire scene, like this whole scene here from start to finish, almost exactly like that. I haven't, I barely had to edit it. It just sort of, that whole scene just came fully formed to my mind. That like, oh crap, this is the moment that's all been building to. Like, she, the moment in Yuri's character development where, like, she's been trying to break away from her self-harm habit all along, but the fact that the knives are there is part of what's holding her back. And there was a line in the previous scene in was it day 4? Was it day 3? Yeah, it was day 3, the one where she brings the red knife with the flames. There's a line in there where she says, I feel like I should find something safer that makes me feel this sense of comfort and security, but I'm not ready to let go yet. This is her finally ready to let go. This is her little, big character development moment here. And yeah, I remember crying while I was writing this scene. I also remember talking to my therapist afterwards, saying that I was crying when I wrote it, and I remember him asking me, why'd that make you cry? And yeah, it's a hard question to answer. It's it's all about giving up a destructive coping mechanism, one that you depend on, and it's freaking hard. It feels, like it's hard. It's like Yuri said, it feels like she's giving up a fundamental part of herself. Like, I have my own coping mechanisms in my own life. Frankly, one of them is video games. Not that that's as destructive as self-harm. You can't compare those two things. But yeah. So sometimes, sometimes I play games for fun. Sometimes it has nothing to do with fun. I'm just trying to numb whatever existential dread is going on in my head, or like whatever anxiety or whatever. I just need to turn to something to distract myself from the anxious or existential thoughts going in my head. I need something to distract me. It doesn't matter what. And video games are sort of escape in that sense. So, if it was me, like, if I was had to give up a coping mechanism, I guess I would be giving up the video games. I don't know what I would fill that void with. Like, that's scary. Because then I would have to confront my anxiety head on, I guess. And so yeah, Yuri having to confront her anxiety head on without having the calming effect that her knives have, because she, she sort of has a love-hate relation. I'm really rambling here. Sorry. she has this love-hate relationship with her knives that she does find them beautiful, and she is really pleased and proud of her collection. But at the same time, they do contribute to this habit which separates her from the rest of humanity. And it's not the only thing that separates her from humanity. Like, has a lot of differences between her and other people, but it's just one of those things that she really struggles with. So yeah, so giving up for her, giving them up is an important step in her journey. Yeah, I mean, it's a good and important step for anyone who engages in self-harm to do. You want, like, it is important to take away the source of the temptation to do it. You don't necessarily have to throw them in the garbage. I mean, you can sell them or give them away, I suppose. But one way or another, you kind of have to. Yeah, it's important to just have that extra layer of protection of not having that temptation around. Anyway, I'm rambling so much here. I should just get on with this. Sorry. Yeah. I moved my sweater to get a better look at my injury. That's yet another sweater I've ruined. Don't know if I'll be able to save this one. My whole upper arm and elbow are covered in blood. I washed it away to get a better look. I didn't actually get any new art for this bit. It's only for like 2 or 3 frames, so I said whatever. So yeah, no graphics of her arm all bloody. Sorry for anyone disappointed by that. Anyway, fortunately the cut doesn't look very deep, but it's long enough that it will take a few bandages to cover it. As I'm cleaning it, I find myself thinking about what Natsuki told me yesterday. She was right. I needed to get angry. I think this is the only way I'm going to be able to move forward in my life. With the cut cleaned up, I head back to my room. I carefully avoid looking at the empty space where my knife rack used to be as I get the box of bandages from my bag. As I sit on my bed, applying bandages to my wound, I consider my next steps. Maybe the next step has to be the scariest of all. I need to admit that I have a problem. That much is obvious, but I need to admit it to Tormuse. And I think it will be easier now that I can claim that it's a thing of the past. Oh yeah, this is another thing. The previous scene where with Natsuki, I wanted to comment on this before, because previous scene with Natsuki where she talks about her experience being bullied. Part of the reason Yuri was able to talk about such an intensely emotional and deeply personal thing is the emotional distance of time, but also the fact that she can rationalize it by saying, "Oh, I was different back then. I was young and foolish. I didn't know it was wrong to be weird." So that made it easier to talk about. And so in that sense, the same sort of thing. Well, she's like, now I'm rid of my knives. My cutting habit is a thing of the past. So now maybe it'll be easier to talk about. So there you go. Moving on. My knives are all gone. There's nothing else keeping me and Tormuse apart, or so I hope. He's been so good to me. He's been so accepting of all my faults so far. It gives me hope that maybe I can share this deeply personal aspect of myself without scaring him away permanently. There's so many ways this can go. I imagine that in the best case scenario, he will understand me and love me and accept me, and we can be together forever, and I can be happy for the rest of my life. But in a worst case scenario, he'll be disgusted and hate me and tell everyone so that everyone else hates me too, and I will be miserable for whatever amount of life I would have after that. This could either be the best or worst thing I do in my life. But then again, in all the best stories, some part of the hero has to die on the way to achieving their quest. That's what this is for me, the point of no return. No matter what happens, my old way of life dies, and I move on to the next leg of my journey. With so much riding on this decision, it would probably be wise to take some time to think about it. But I've come so far, just in the past week, that I feel like I can't live like I was anymore. I spent far too much of my life hiding myself, just living in my head. It's time to start living in the real world. That's a little meta there. To experience all the wonderful, beautiful things it has to offer that everyone else takes for granted and that I have shut myself off from. And I want to start now. I can't wait. I think tomorrow, at the festival, I'm going to tell him. The thought terrifies me, but at the same time it excites me. No matter how it goes, I think it will be a relief to finally share my secret. And now that I really think about it, even if Tormuse takes it badly, I may still have other people to turn to. Natsuki, my newest friend. She said she understands the feeling of disturbing pain. She would probably understand my habit. Or maybe Sayuri, my depression buddy. Maybe it's my turn to tearfully confide in her. Even Monica could be someone I could turn to, although I'm less certain about how understanding she would be. Maybe things won't be so bad. There's nothing to do now but wait and see. Day 7. I'm 1 hour in. I could end this here, but I'm going to go through this day because it's a short one. So going on. It's Monday morning. I'm awakened by the sound of the garbage truck pulling up. I dash to the window and look out to see it approaching our house. I'm seized by the wild idea to run outside in my pajamas and stop them from taking my knife collection away, but I resist. I stay put. It's agonizing watching the garbage collectors dump the contents of our garbage can into their truck without a second thought. I continue watching as they drive away. Soon, they're too distant for me to hear them anymore. They're gone. They're really gone. I'm never going to see my knives again. Goodbye, my friends. I have to remind myself of all my reasons for doing this so I don't sink into despair. Remind myself that I'm moving forward into a beautiful future with Tormuse, I hope. The next thing I know, my phone is in my hand. There are so many thousands of things that I want to say to him that I don't know where to begin. But all of the most important things I can think of are best left for saying in person. I want to look him in the eyes when I tell him my secret. Oh yeah, I wanted to comment about the bit of irony that back on the Wednesday, she was saying, I can't wait till garbage pickup, it can't come soon enough, and now she's looking at it with dread now that it's finally here. Anyway, moving on. I just send him a generic message reminding him not to forget anything we need for the festival. His reply is mundane, but it makes me feel a little more at ease, being part of such a normal exchange. I will meet him at the festival, and I will take him aside, and whatever will happen, will happen. I pack everything up. The paint so I can finish the banner, the black paper, the origami curtain, the diffuser, the candles. All that's left is to decide which knife to bring. Oh, right. I gaze at the empty space on my wall. It gives me a feeling of foreboding. But I am firmly on this path now. I won't let anything change it. My knives and my cutting habit are a thing of the past. That's just the way it is now. Yeah. Incidentally, someone commented that the knife rack was in a very precarious position over a bed, but I wanted it to be an essential position exactly because it makes it so striking when it's finally gone. Anyway, moving on. As I make my way through the school, I become increasingly anxious with each step. I hesitate outside the clubroom. I feel like whatever happens in the next few minutes is going to determine how the rest of my life goes. I nervously open the door. Monica's the only one here. She's sitting at one of the desks with her head in her hands, looking despondent. Has she been crying? Where did I go wrong? Monica? She doesn't respond. I stand on the threshold of the clubroom, uncertain what to do. I enter the room cautiously and quietly set my things down.
Monica, are you okay?
There's an awkward pause. I can't imagine what could have happened to put Monica in such a bad mood. I take a seat next to her while I try to think of what to do. As terrible as it sounds, this might be an excellent opportunity for me. Maybe this is the one time I can really reach out to her, to not only connect with her, but to comfort her during what is apparently a troubled time for her. This feels like an important moment. I summon up all my courage.
I see that you are upset. Do you want to talk about it?
Yuri, I'm not in the mood, okay? She doesn't even look at me. The moment stretches on in silence. Just the two of us, alone in the room. Despair starts creeping in. I'm no good at this. A normal person would probably know what to say. I'm probably screwing up my one and only chance to make friends with Monica. She's still sitting in the same position, still muttering to herself. I can't give up, but what's the next step? I have to come up with something. While I try to think of what to do, I look around the room. Each of the desks has a very professional-looking pamphlet on it advertising the club. My attention is drawn to a very familiar banner in a crumpled heap on the floor.
Is Tormy's here?
Monica looks very irritated.
Tormy's decided to go hang out with Sayuri today.
This is strange. Why would he visit Sayuri instead of helping set up for the festival?
But he's coming later, right?
For the first time since I arrived, Monica looks directly at me. She looks exasperated. He's not coming, Yuri. She turns away from me again to resume muttering to herself. It takes a moment for her words to sink in. He's not coming. He wanted to be with Sayuri so much that he isn't even going to fulfill his duties to the club. I look at the banner on the floor, the one we spent Sunday afternoon working on together. He just discarded it on the floor like it was a piece of trash and walked away. He didn't even want to stay long enough to say hi to me. It hurts more than I can bear. What did I do wrong? But of course, there are so many possible answers. It could have been my weird behavior, something I did or said. It could be that Sayuri is just naturally more desirable than me. It could be that he finally realized how ugly I am. It could be that he was scared away by my fascination with knives. My knives! The storm is raging inside me. My knives! I don't even have them to comfort me anymore. Tears start pouring down my face. How did things fall apart so completely? I thought he enjoyed our time on Sunday. I thought he would want to see me again. What a foolish thought. Nothing like that ever happens to me. It just felt so good. I wanted it to last forever. I even gave him my favorite book. He starts sobbing into my desk. I gave up everything I value, and now I have nothing, and I might not even have him as a friend anymore. I want my knives. I start hitting my head against the desk. I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid. I hit harder, harder. What are you so upset about? I'd forgotten that Monica is still here.
I'm sorry.
Yuri, honestly, you have nothing to be this upset about.
He hates me.
What was that? I try to control the shakiness of my breathing to get the words out.
Tormy hates me.
You have got to be kidding me. How could you think something so stupid?
In the last week, he spent more time with you than anyone else. He likes Sayuri more.
Monica mutters something under her breath. The only words I catch are stupid teenage drama.
I know I never deserved his attention. I know how unlikable I am. I don't know why he wanted to spend time with me.
Monica rolls her eyes.
I can think of 2 reasons. Yuri, did you consider that maybe he was drawn to you for your looks? But I'm so ugly.
What? How can you think that?
I
can't say it. Oh, come on. I really have to know. Why is she even asking me? Isn't it obvious? Just thinking about it just starts a fresh wave of tears. Monica's tone changes. She speaks gently. Hey, hey. She turns to fully face me. She reaches out and puts her hand on my shoulder. Whatever it is, I won't judge you for it, I promise. She gives me a kindly smile. Something about her physical contact makes me feel discouraged. I feel encouraged. My breasts are too big. Wow, seriously? Who writes this shit? Excuse my language. She's laughing at me. There's no doubt about it. She's laughing at me. I should be used to it by now, but somehow it's different coming from Monica. The storm rises to a scream, all my feelings rushing through my head. It overwhelms my senses. I just feel numb. I don't even feel like crying. I just want to cease to exist. I'm putting my head down the desk. I'm grasping my head between my hands. I'm digging my nails into my scalp. I'm just trying to silently will the world to go away, hoping that when I open my eyes, this nightmare will be over. But of course, it makes sense for them to make Yuri's character desirable, but think she's undesirable. It's every adolescent fantasy. Probably every adult fantasy, too. Guess the protagonist is supposed to go up to her and be like, "Never fear, Yuri, for I am the one man who likes big boobs." What a laugh. I almost feel sorry for them. What is Monica saying? She's talking about me as if I'm a character in a story? I cautiously look up at her. She has a faraway look in her eyes. It was probably written by some bearded middle-aged guy. That would explain a lot. Monica, so judgmental. For the record, I am neither bearded nor middle-aged. I think... Does Dan Salvato have a beard right now? He was like clean shaven for a while, but I'm trying to remember how he looked in the last stream. I don't remember him having fairly wavy hair, but he's still not middle-aged. I think. I mean, he's younger than I am. I think. I don't even know how old he is. How old is Dan Salvato? I mean, he had some pretty old school stuff during that anniversary stream the other day. I don't know. Oh, and while I'm rambling, that line. Where is it? Oh, there it is. I can think of two reasons. I don't know if that was the most appropriate place for a joke. It's a bit of tonal dissonance, but in case it isn't clear, the two things that Monica's talking about. The first thing is Yuri's left breast. And the second thing, I'm sure you can infer from context, but the second thing is her right breast. It was a joke about her boobs. Yeah, that's right. I don't know if anybody got that. Nobody's commented on it so far. But moving on. I know that sometimes I get so lost in my books that I forget what's real and what isn't. Sometimes I even get caught up in my waking fantasies too. I've always assumed that's just another sign of my weirdness, but now I'm wondering if other people do it too. Or perhaps Monica isn't as normal as I think she is. Monica, what are you talking about? Oh, just ignore me, Yuri. I have a habit of talking to myself when I'm alone. It's more meta. Again, self-aware Monica. As far as she's concerned, Yuri isn't real, so she feels like she's alone. Hence all the talking to herself. Did you just call me a character, like in a story? You know I'm real, right? Believe me, I'm very aware of what's real and what's not. Dun dun dun. Actually, I guess I should thank you. You've cheered me up immensely. And you've given me some ideas. I still can't imagine what this is about. Ideas? What kind of ideas? Monica seems to consider me for a moment. Something about the way she's looking at me is making me nervous. She gets out of her chair and kneels down in front of me so that we're at eye level with each other. Yuri, listen to me closely. She reaches up and brushes my hair aside so it doesn't cover my face. You're beautiful, okay? I shake my head. No, I'm not. I'm really not. Shh. Listen. You're being way too hard on yourself. Okay, let me put it another way. Everyone is beautiful. You, Sayuri, Natsuki, and I are all different. Yet we're all beautiful to somebody. No matter who you are or what you look like, there'll always be some people out there who like you. She gently wipes the tears away from my face with her fingertips. This is also playing a little into the meta. From Monika's perspective, this is a dating simulator, and each of the girls is deliberately different to appeal to a different person in the audience. You know, like you got like Natsuki the Tsundere, and you know, and Yuri the Dandara, and Sayuri. I think somebody described her as a Genki girl. I think, is that the right word? You know, the one who's like bubbly and happy and excited. I hope that was the right term. Anyway, like, point is, it plays into the whole idea of everybody is beautiful to somebody. so there's a little bit of meta there, but it also happens to be my own personal belief, my own personal philosophy, really. Everyone's beautiful, you know? Different people are attracted to different people, so there really is somebody for everybody, you know? So yeah, so if you think of yourself as unattractive, you're shooting yourself in the foot, you know? You're only holding yourself back, because there are other people out there that like you. No matter who you are, there will always be some people like you, some people who don't like you. Avoid the people who don't like you. You know, seek out the people who do. It's and just, yeah, you're only holding yourself back if you you know, you wallow in, oh no, I'm not beautiful, you know. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, she gently wipes the tears away from my face with her fingertips. I still feel like there's a gaping hole inside of me, but her gentle contact is something to fill the void and bring a bit of myself back. And Tormuse clearly likes you. And that means you're doing nothing but hurting yourself by believing you're ugly. Hurting yourself. I don't know what to think about this. It's certainly a nice thought, but there's definitely something off about Monika's whole demeanor. Like she isn't doing this just to be kind, but because she wants something from me. Besides, this may come as a shock to you, but big breasts are actually pretty popular. I mean, come on, look at mine. Do you think people just like me for them? It's not just how I look. I'm different. I'm not normal. What's normal? Yuri, everyone is different. It is normal for people to be different. The world is full of different people. I shake my head again. Not like this. Not like me. What could be so bad about you that would drive anyone away from you? I'm fidgeting with my sleeves. Think of all the scars on my arms. I don't think I can bring myself to answer her. I feel like I want to run away to escape this uncomfortable topic, but I don't think I can bring myself to leave. She brushes my hair aside again. The tender way that she's caressing my face soothes some small part of the ache permeating my body. I need to get more water already. Hold on, I'll be back. It makes me want to confide in her, but I can't talk about it. Okay, fine. Let me put it another way. It's pretty obvious that Tormuse likes you. What would have to change for him to not like you? He doesn't like me. Wrong. Try again. But he went to be with Sayuri today. By the way, I like these moments where Monika's anger shows through here, because she is having this conversation, like the internal monologue says. Where was it? Because great. Something odd about her. Well, wherever it said it. She's doing this because she wants something from Yuri. She's trying to get information from her, and I just like this, that she's trying to act nice, but her impatience starts showing through.
But he went to be with Sayuri today. It's only natural for him to want to go to her. Sayuri was his friend.
Was?
What? They're not friends anymore? Sorry, slip of the tongue. I meant to say she is his friend. Anyway, if you really can't think of anything, then that's proof of that you have nothing to worry about, right?
I feel strangely compelled to want to justify my feelings.
Well, I used to have a habit that he wouldn't approve of. By any chance, would this habit involve in hurting yourself?
I'm pretty sure my heart stops for a second.
What? How did you know?
Well, a moment ago you made a dent in that desk with your head. That was kind of a clue.
Oh. I don't do that anymore. I'm putting a stop to that habit. Well, good for you. Please don't tell Tormes about it.
Monica's smile gets wider. Oh no. What's she planning?
I wouldn't dream of it. I really want to make a fresh start of things. A fresh start sounds like a good idea. In fact, it sounds like a really, really good idea. So there you are. It's in the past. Nothing else to keep you from him.
This feels strange. Why is Monica giving me all these undeserved compliments?
No.
What now? The impatience again. Honestly, I think my biggest problem is how obsessive I get. My obsession with knives for my cutting habit, my obsession with Tormes made me give up my favorite book on a whim, and made me lose control when I was with him yesterday. Not to mention leading me to all the pain I'm feeling right now.
I get too obsessed. What do you mean? I get too fixated on certain ideas. Once I get an idea in my head, I don't want to let it go. It's the single biggest source of all my problems. Self-harming and obsessive. You know, I think I can work with that. Huh? Monica, what do
End of Act 1. Dun dun dun. Act 2. Act 2. There you go. And get that little bit of loopy music there for a second. All right. I think this is a good time to end this recording. That's, boom. That's the big, big plot twist moment, the plot thickens moment of the mod so far. Is my imagination? Hey, is it my imagination, or is the text box a different shade there? Shouldn't be. How strange. Anyway, yeah. So that was the end of Act 1, and the menu changes. There are a few menu changes over the course of this thing. It's brilliant. Instead of the calm, demure, book-carrying Yuri, we've got the crazy, obsessed, knife-wielding Yuri. After this is where the mod just goes really off the rails. It is absolute nutso from now on. And this is where this is the part where I really take refuge in Audacity, and probably make people playing this wonder about my mental health. Like, what the frig is Tormes writing here? What the hell? Because this is I'm a bit excited to get into the next part, because it's really gonna get nuts. But that's something for another time. Because this recording has been gone on long enough. Monica is starting the next stage of her plan. Well, if there is a plan, I mean, Monica's kind of making things up as she goes along, really, I think. But this is where she focuses on Yuri. Up to this point, Monica's been largely ignoring Yuri. But, yeah. But that's something for next time. So, until next time.